financialization is well and truly over, despite the sustained risk of stock market in the previous decade. Yet, economic performance was also mediocre in China, reflecting an underlying weakness of productive accumulation across the world. When COVID 19 struck, it became crystal clear that contemporary capitalism is entirely dependent on massive state intervention. Core Western states were able to intervene on an unprecedented scale, mostly because of monopoly command by central banks over fiat money. Unlike 2007 to 2009, however, the state also deployed fiat money to relax austerity, thus engaging in the unspoken nationalization of the wage bill and the income statements of thousands of enterprises. It's a misunderstanding that neoliberalism necessarily means marginalizing the state and imposing austerity. Rather, it's about using the state selectively to defend the interests of a small elite, an oligarchy, associated with big business in the financial sector. Fundamentally, it stands for shifting the balance of power in favor of capital by removing controls on its activities. When the pandemic shock threatened the foundations of class rule, austerity and forbearing from direct economic intervention were abandoned in the blink of an eye. The neoliberal ideologists rapidly adapted to the new reality, though it is always possible that austerity will return. What has not taken place is an institutional shift in favor of workers' interests that would limit the freedom of capital. It is primarily in this sense that the old is refusing to die. The pandemic also made it clear that there is great variety in the relationship between powerful states and domestic capitalist accumulation. Core Western states, in the grip of neoliberal ideology, derive their strength primarily from command over fiat money. In contrast, the Chinese state remains directly involved in both productive accumulation and finance, as well as having possession over vast resources. Their respective responses to the pandemic differed greatly. Inevitably, there has been a tremendous escalation in the contest for global hegemony, including in the military field. For the first time since 1914, moreover, the hegemonic contest is also immediately economic. The Soviet Union was exclusively a political and military contestant to the United States. The latter could never compete with Chrysler. I don't know why he brings anyway. But China can outcompete the US economically, making the struggle considerably deeper and removing any obvious point of equilibrium. The US ruling bloc realizes that it has made a strategic miscalculation, and this accounts for its current unrelenting aggressiveness. Conditions in the international arena are exceedingly dangerous. Still, the global hegemonic struggle lacks entirely in ideological content. Western neoliberal democracies are exhausted, failed, and bereft of new ideas. The attempts of the US ruling bloc to present its aggressiveness as a defense of democracy are hollow and ludicrous. On the other hand, Chinese and Russian authoritarianism has considerable domestic support, but no capacity to offer a globally appealing social and political perspective. The characteristic feature of the interim, I hate that word. Anyway, since 2007-2009 is an ideological impasse. There is tremendous discontent with capitalism, particularly as the degradation of the environment and the warming of the planet have raised great concern among the young. But that concern has not translated into a broad-based mobilization behind fresh socialist ideas and politics. This is the challenge ahead, particularly as the far right is already taking advantage. Post-capitalism, defined broadly as a social system in which the power of markets is restricted, productive activity is premised on automation, work is delinked from wages, and the state provides universal basic services and a basic income, is possible because of changes in information technology, according to some pundits. Should the left spend political capital by envisioning a post-capitalist future? During the pandemic crisis, the domestic actions of nation states displaced the precepts and prescriptions of neoliberal capitalism, foisted invasive measures on social and personal life centering on public health and hygiene, and imposed severe restrictions on civil liberties and economic activity. The state inflamed political tensions, heightened social polarization, and restricted freedoms. Workers paid the greatest price through income loss, rising unemployment, and worsening public provision. But the middle strata were also left out in the cold, thus delivering a major blow to the class alliances that supported the neoliberal project. Giant oligopolies in new technology emerged as the main beneficiaries: Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and the rest. Their actions are steadily eclipsing the future of the citizen as personal identities are increasingly organized around market links to the oligopolies. At the same time, the extreme right was strengthened, a trend that started before the pandemic and has accelerated through the agency of powerful oligarchies. There has been no shortage of grassroots reactions to these developments. Heavy handed state actions, official cultivation of fear, suspension of rights and liberties, the danger of permanent repression, and the crushing of workers in the middle strata during the lockdowns spurred various responses, often in a libertarian direction. Bear in mind that maintaining capitalist accumulation in the years to come will be exceedingly difficult across the world. The underlying weakness of accumulation is far from easy to confront. It's also clear that state intervention in the pandemic has created major difficulties with the disruption of supply chains, the rise of inflation eating into workers' incomes, and the tremendous escalation of public debt. And all that is without even mentioning the broader issues of environment and climate. It's hardly possible that economic growth could be sustained without large scale state intervention on the supply side through public investment that also involves profound distributional changes in income that benefit workers. It seems even less likely that this would happen without a major shift in property rights, redistributing wealth and productive resources in favor of workers and the poor. Technology alone is never the answer for complex social problems. Indeed, one aspect of the technological revolution of the last 4 decades is its inability even to improve the economic conditions of accumulation, since its effects on the average productivity of labor is modest. I see no reason at this stage to expect that artificial intelligence would prove dramatically different. Perhaps it will, but there's no guarantees. Western neoliberal democracies are ideologically exhausted, and their capitalist economies are beset with problems. In this context, it is imperative for socialists and progressives to think of a post capitalist future and ascertain its broad parameters. We need to think about the use of digital technologies, the greening of production, and the protection of the environment. But all that should take place in social conditions that favor working people and not capitalists, with a new sociality, collective action, and individual fulfillment through communal association. The rejuvenation of the socialist promise is the paramount need of the times. Bob, during the neoliberal era, mainstream economics shaded easily into ideology. Indeed, it's rather easy to show that mainstream economic policy is full of misrepresentation of reality. The question is, how does an alleged science become ideology? And how likely is it that the coronavirus pandemic, in conjunction with the flaws of neoliberalism and the urgency of the climate crisis, will lead to will lead to an intellectual paradigm shift in dismal science? Well, let's recognize that all varieties of economists are heavily influenced by ideology, or what the great conservative economist Joseph Schumpeter more judiciously termed their pre-analytic vision. Leftist economists, myself included, are as guilty as anyone else. Our ideology influences the questions that we decide are most important to ask. Ideology also provides us with some initial guesses as to what the answers to these questions are likely to be. Still, if we are also attempting to be the least bit scientific, or even minimally honest, as economic researchers, we will put our hunches and our preferred answers to the test of evidence and be open to challenges. I think it's fair to say that not all, but a high percentage of mainstream economists have not been committed to these minimally objective scientific standards. They rather have been so fully immersed in their ideological biases that they are unable to even think about how they might ask questions differently. Their biases have been reinforced by the fact that these prejudices provide succor to policy regimes that, as noted above, shower benefits on the already overprivileged. Joan Robinson, the renowned Cambridge University economist of the Great Depression and post-World War II era, beautifully captured this allure of orthodox economics as follows. One of the main effects, I will not say purposes, of orthodox traditional economics was a plan for explaining to the privileged class that their position was morally right and was necessary for the welfare of society. At the same time, there has been no shortage of progressive economists over the neoliberal era who have stood up to mainstream orthodoxy, as represented, for example, by the 24 people you interviewed in this new book, Economics and the Left, Interviews with Progressive Economists. In my view, how much influence economists such as these will have will depend primarily on how successful are the progressive movements in advancing the Green New Deal and related programs in the coming months and years. There are hopeful signs. Just late last month, the Federal Reserve released a paper by Jeremy Rudd, a senior member of its own staff, which begins with the observation that, quote, mainstream economics is replete with ideas that everyone knows to be true, but that are actually errant nonsense. Rudd also notes on page 1 that he's leaving aside in his paper the deeper concern that the primary role of mainstream economics in our society is to provide apologetics for a criminally oppressive, unsustainable, and unjust social order. There may well be more Jeremy Rudds out there, poised to spring from the shadows of the professional mainstream. This would be a most positive development, but I would also say that it's about time. Noam, it's been said by far too many that it is easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. Given that capitalism is actually destroying the earth, how, first, would you respond to the above statement? And secondly, how do you envision economy and society after capitalism? Well, I'd prefer to rephrase the question to refer to state capitalism. Those whom Adam Smith called the masters of mankind, the dominant business classes, would never tolerate capitalism, which would expose them to the ravages of the market. That's for the victims. For the masters, a powerful state is required, insofar as they can control it and reduce the underlying population to subordination and passivity. It does not seem to me too difficult to imagine at least a serious mitigation of the destruction and repressive elements of this system, and its eventual transformation to a far more fair and just society. In fact, we must not only imagine, but proceed to implement such programs, or we'll all be finished, the masters too. It's even quite realistic to imagine and implement the overthrow of the basic state capitalist principle, renting oneself to a master. After all, for millennia, it's been recognized, in principle at least, that being subjected to the will of a master is an intolerable attack on human dignity and rights. The concept is not far back in our own history. In late 19th century America, radical farmers and industrial workers were seeking to create a cooperative commonwealth in which they would be free of domination by illegitimate bosses robbing their labor and of Northeast bankers and market managers. These powerful movements were so effectively crushed by state corporate force that today even the highly popular ideas sound exotic. But they are not far below the surface and are even being revived in many important ways. In short, there is reasons to be hopeful that what must be done can be done. I'm gonna pause right there only because I need to fucking roll a blunt, son. What the fuck? I'm sitting here with no blunt in hand. This ain't even like me. Anywho. What's up, Bear? I'd stop before you get too far behind, Mellow Yellow. Leave the Jeebus shit at the door. Right, straight up, Mellow Yellow. We ain't here for that shit. You know what I mean? Your boy won. Take that and run with it, all right? You ain't got to fucking be a dick about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of pathetic, actually, that you're such a sycophant for a member of the fucking privileged class who doesn't give a shit about you at all. At least most Kamala supporters, well, I don't know about most, but at least a lot of Kamala supporters knew that Kamala Harris is a piece of shit. She just wasn't as big a piece of shit as Trump. You know what I mean? So even if she had won, you wouldn't have seen motherfuckers like me celebrating, even though I voted for her. You know what I mean? But I wasn't about to be like, oh, yay, my favorite person won. Like, man, fuck the privileged class. Okay? Fuck the establishment. Fuck all those rich people in Washington, Trump included. Okay? See, I mean what I say. You know what I'm saying? I'm with the people. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're a fucking rich ass billionaire, capitalist, exploiter, I don't give a fuck if you have a D or an R in front of your name. Fuck you. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it. Straight up. So, I mean, this sycophantic behavior, like just the overt sucking of Donald Trump's cock is just pathetic. And you motherfuckers consider yourselves alpha males? Get the fuck out of here. You're swinging from the nutsack of a dude who don't give a shit about you. It's pathetic. Pathetic. But whatever. I mean, do you? You know what I mean? I mean, it's like the typical Christian thing to do, right? There is no Jesus at all, no fucking God to speak of. But yet, you're still gonna go through life living your delusion. Okay? Because of what? It doesn't even bring you any peace. No satisfaction. You're just doing it because everyone around you's doing it. But I bet if everyone around you was a fucking atheist and talked about how stupid Christianity was, and that was what you grew up around, you'd be saying the same fucking thing. Okay? Because most of you motherfuckers are just peasant brained. Okay? You just want someone to tell you what to do so you don't have to fucking think. Okay? So you can just, oh, yes, sir. Yes, master. Yes, Lord. With unquestioning loyalty. It's pathetic. Pathetic. But yet you consider yourself an individual man. I'm an alpha, you know. I'm an alpha male, but at the same time, I'm sucking Donald Trump's cock. His small little shriveled mushroom cock. Just under your tongue. Because you're fucking gross and pathetic. Okay? Straight up. Like, I'm telling you, had Kamala Harris won, I'd have been like, oh, thank God. We avoided fascism. And that'd have been it. I wouldn't have been like, we need to throw a party. I would have been all clapping and dancing in the streets. You know what I mean? You wouldn't see me with a Harris 2024 hat on. Like, get the fuck out of here. You motherfuckers are so cucked, okay, by the motherfuckers in the establishment. Cucked. Like, and it's really fucking sad. Like, it is fucking sad. But I digress, goddammit. I digress. So if y'all was wondering, this is the book I was reading. You know what I mean? Illegitimate Authority by Noam Chomsky. You feel me? Look at Boogie Tron hard at work. Hey, you stupid Hardy said Barron Trump 2050. I mean, how much better, how much worse could he be? You know what I mean? So, I suppose he could be significantly worse. I mean, it's not like Hitler was the most evil man in history. There were plenty other people who were just as evil. Maybe they just didn't have as much power as Hitler did to, you know, to commit as much evil as Hitler did. But still, there are people worse than Hitler. But it doesn't matter if your family was affected by his savagery. You know, as far as you're concerned, he is the most evil person. Or shit, let one of your kids had gotten drone striked and bombed and blown to fucking smithereens thanks to President Obama's drone strike program. You would probably look at President Obama as the most evil fucker on earth because he was the one who was responsible for drone striking this shit out of your Iraqi child. Okay? So it really doesn't matter. It's just like the most evil person in the world just depends on who you ask. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, that guy killed a lot of people, but he didn't kill anyone I gave a fuck about. You know? Because that's just the atomization that we have over here, this fucking U.S. chauvinism. You know what I mean? Like, we don't give a fuck about y'all. It's all about us, son. I was just thinking earlier, like, I am convinced 100% that America doesn't care about anything. Like, there's nothing sacred in America. Okay? Like, they'll say there's shit that they're sacred about, but no, it's not. I mean, if every YouTube video that you've ever seen by a Christian isn't evidence to that, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, these motherfuckers take their faith as a joke. They just use it to exploit other dumbass, gullible Christians into getting content. likes and views and probably making money off of it. Money that I guarantee you they're not giving to the poor as their Jesus instructed them to do. Okay. So that's number one. Because they don't give a fuck about Jesus. They don't give a fuck about his teachings. They'll never turn the other cheek. That's just not what Christians do. They got to get revenge. They're vindictive, spiteful, hateful. You know, that's your typical Christian. And probably uneducated. Okay. Just saying. So there's that. Number two, they don't give a fuck about the Constitution. Are you shitting me? They don't give a fuck. No one, this country does not give a shit about the Constitution. Not at all. Okay. First Amendment, get the fuck out of here. The loudest motherfuckers talk about First Amendment, First Amendment, my First Amendment speech rights are being violated. It's like them the same motherfuckers, i.e. Elon Musk. As soon as you say something he don't fucking like, banned you, blocked your account. It's like, oh, I thought we was freedom of speech. What happened? Oh, it's just freedom to speak the shit that you want to hear. But as soon as you say something you don't want to hear, now it's like, shut the fuck up, motherfucker. It's ridiculousness. So we don't give a fuck about the Constitution. That was just the First Amendment. I didn't even get to the second because the loudest Second Amendment proponents don't give a fuck about the Second Amendment. Okay? It straight up says a well-regulated militia. Okay? Well-regulated. Regulation involves bureaucracy. Okay? But y'all motherfuckers don't want that. Y'all like, no, it says I can have one. It's like, yeah, but it also says it needs to be well regulated, not just regulated, well regulated. But you don't care about that part, right? Because you don't give a fuck about the Constitution. What does the Sixth Amendment say? Or the Eighth? Okay, you don't fucking know because you don't give a fuck about the Constitution. Straight up, you just cherry pick parts of the Constitution that you give a fuck about, just like you do your Bible. Okay, just cherry pick parts, all the pretty bits, and just completely disregard or try to find some harebrained explanation to try to cope with the fuck shit that you come across in the Bible. Because again, we don't give a fuck what Jesus said. We don't care what the Bible says. We don't care what the Constitution says. They're all talking about pro-life. Ask the next conservative you run into. Do you support the death penalty? What about the war in Iraq? Should we send more money to Israel so that they can continue their campaign of genocide? Should we do that? I mean, I thought you were pro-life. Oh, it's only pro-life when it comes to a woman being pregnant. Or a girl, because they don't even have to be a fucking woman. It could be a female child who's pregnant. You're like, no, I'm pro-life. You will have that child. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep sending money to the government and allow them and advocate for them to continue killing the children in Gaza. Okay, because you're not really pro-life. It's just something you say. You don't give a fuck about those people. Don't give a fuck about children. Not whatsoever. If you did, you'd stop indoctrinating them with this hateful ass shit in the fucking Bible. That gross fucking disgusting debauchery wrapped up in a book. Fuck that. If you cared about kids, you wouldn't read them the Bible, number one. Number two, you wouldn't threaten them with the fucking threat of hell. Are you serious? What the fuck type of shit is that? That's child abuse, in my opinion. And also, what the fuck? Like, you're not doing anything for their future. You're not doing anything to see to it that that child has a prosperous life or can thrive or that that child has rights. Because what if that child grows up to be gay or trans? Now all of a sudden you're like, fuck that child's life because you're not really a pro-life advocate. Okay? Because this country, and particularly the right wing, don't give a fuck about anything. Nothing in this country matters. Nothing. The only thing that matters is guns and spending more money on ourselves. That's it. That's it. Not even on the stuff that we need, like roads and better schools and a stronger social safety net. Nope. Just want to make sure that me and my family is okay. I don't give a fuck about the families in Gaza. I don't give a fuck about that poor family just one block down the street. It's all about me and mine. Because Jesus, I guess. Jesus said, just care about yourself, just amass your own wealth, even though he said, don't store up for yourself treasures on earth, treasures that can be stolen or be spoiled or get rusted. He says, store up for yourself treasures in heaven where that shit can't happen. But do you see any Christians doing that? No, sir. No, sir. They can't be fucking bothered to do what Jesus said. Okay. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I was just really thinking about that earlier today and yesterday. That no matter what it is that the right wing espouses, whatever the right wing pretends to care about, they don't actually care about. They only say it to try to score a point in some argument or whatever. But other than that, They don't give a shit about anything. They don't give a fuck about the Constitution. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about Jesus. They don't give a fuck about shit. Okay, this country doesn't really have a moral leg to stand on in any capacity at all. Okay, this is a fucking shit country, terrorist state in the entire fucking globe, and most people around the world recognize the United States to be the danger, to be the biggest threat to life and liberty across the world. No other country comes closer. They look at the United States as the biggest threat. Not Afghanistan, not Iraq, not none of that shit. The United States. You know why? Because we're the ones with over 800 military bases around the world. We're the one who breaks treaty after treaty. We're the ones who are like, nope, not drawing an international criminal court because why would we? We commit crimes on a regular fucking basis. Why would we subscribe to that shit? Okay. Like, this country is a piece of shit. Okay, the Constitution, fuck the Constitution. I wipe my ass with the Constitution. It was never meant for black people anyway. That's how. What? That's why they only considered us of a third of a person at one point, and that was only because the southern states felt like they weren't getting enough representation or whatever. So it's like, all right, well, I guess all them niggas you own, we'll consider them a third of a person, right? So that's what I talk about when it says life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for all Americans. Who are we considering Americans in that? Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for we the people. Who are the people in this we the people? Okay, it's the same thing with Jesus and loving your neighbors. Love your neighbor. Love your God with all of your heart and all of your soul and all of your whatever, and then love your neighbor as yourself. Who are considered to be counted amongst these neighbors? Okay, because clearly the neighbors weren't the fucking heathen from the nations that surround you from which you are allowed to buy your slaves. Okay, so clearly it wasn't talking about them motherfuckers. Them motherfuckers ain't your neighbors, apparently. So we have to ask, who are these neighbors that Jesus said to love as yourself? Other fucking Jews. That's who he was talking about. Love your Jewish neighbor as yourself. Okay, just like in America, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for we the people. Who are we? Who are these people? Okay, because they didn't really think about gay people or trans people or black people or brown immigrants. Okay, they wasn't talking about, well, fuck y'all motherfuckers. We was talking about rich, land-owning, white, cis men. That's who we were talking about. That's who we the people are. Everyone else is just lucky to fucking be here. Okay? That's what this country really is. It's a piece of shit. It treats its own citizens like shit. So if it treats us like shit, you can guarantee, you can bet your fucking bottom dollar that they treat the children or the people in other countries less than shit. I'm just saying. Once you read your fucking history, the truth about history, not that fuck shit that you've been indoctrinated to believe when you were in grade school. Get the fuck out of here. It's time for you to unlearn that shit and find out the fucking facts. And if you want to start, here's a couple of suggestions. The 21st century or the 20th century, I think that's what it's called, by Howard Zinn. Read that fucking book. Read Manufacturing Consent by Noam Chomsky. Fuck yeah. Read Who Rules the World by Noam Chomsky, or The Responsibility of Intellectuals by Noam Chomsky. I'm a huge Noam Chomsky fan if you haven't figured that out by now, but I'm just saying, these are all excellent books with striking critiques of American foreign policy and domestic policy. So, and then once you realize all that, and if you want to do any follow-up research on what you've read, you'll find out that this country is a piece of shit. Straight up. How they say, I don't know who made the quote where they said absolute power corrupts absolutely. We are the absolute power in the entire country, in the entire world. The United States, unmatched in our power. Okay? Therefore, we have absolute power, seemingly. And we are absolutely corrupt. Absolutely fucking corrupt as a country. I mean, shit, we've legalized bribery. What the fuck? Other wealthy nations don't do that shit, but we have. We've made bribery legal. We just call them campaign donations. You know what I mean? This country just, the country treats its citizens like less than citizens, like they're nothing more than customers, just customers. Motherfuckers that can come buy a product, you know what I mean, that was probably slaved away and being made by your fellow working man. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, this country doesn't give a fuck about its constituents. It doesn't give a fuck about the people. It's all about just those few people in the oligarchy who have all the business, who have all the money, all the power, all the influence. It's all about them. This country is for them. I am convinced that if the establishment gets their way, they will transform the United States into something like Dubai, where only the rich and the affluent can afford to live there. Okay, that's what I fear that they're trying to make America into, a predominantly white, if not only white, country full of non-gay Christians who have all the money. Okay, and then if you're poor, I don't know, go to fucking Mexico or something. But you can't stay in the United States unless you're a millionaire. All right, that's where I think we're headed. Because unless we get some socialism going on in this bitch, capitalism is going to drive us all into the fucking ground, along with the planet. Just saying. Every serious intellectual knows this. The corporations know it. The CEOs know it. They just don't give a fuck. They're like, bro, son, I got 4 motherfucking yachts. Okay, why you don't have a car or you just drive that one piece of shit lemon, I have 4 yachts. Okay, and given that I have 4 yachts, that's a lot of maintenance. Okay, so I need to continue to exploit the fuck out of you for your labor so that I can continue to make more profits that I don't necessarily need. But I mean, I can get it, so I'm taking it at your expense. Okay. At your kid's expense, at your parents' expense, your brother, your wife's expense. I don't care. Fuck everyone. I'm trying to come up. I actually already am up. I mean, there are over 1,000 billionaires in the United States. That is insane. 1,000 billionaires. And look how many homeless people there are. Look how many hungry people there are in this country with 1,000 billionaires. Something is not right. Okay. And the only thing that's not right is that the reality of the situation doesn't match the rhetoric. Okay. That you've constantly been fed your entire fucking life. You know, the neoliberal capitalist dogma. Work hard, play by the rules, you'll get ahead, all that shit. You can have the American dream. All that is a fucking lie. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? And yet some of us idiot peasant brain motherfuckers believe that shit. We fucking believe it, internalize it. Like, if I just work hard, if I come in early and stay late, if I smile and play along, get the fuck out of here. That's not how it works. Okay, what is this, 1930? Get the fuck out of here. It doesn't work that way. Okay? You should fucking know it. Just look at your own fucking experience in the workplace. You know this is correct. You don't have to even look at stats or nothing, but you should. Okay, because your own personal experience is just anecdotal, all right? I'm just saying. You can go and look at the stats, look at the data, and it backs up what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, like, this country is a piece of shit. I have a shirt that says something similar. It says I hate this fucking country. You know, not the people. Although the people do make it very hard to like this country, but the people aren't necessarily who I'm mad at. The people, I feel the overwhelming majority of the Americans are victims. They're victims of capitalist exploitation and neoliberal rhetoric that you have internalized and believe without any real evidence, which is such a Christian thing to do. You just accept some nonsense and just believe it with no fucking evidence, or or at least that the evidence that they adduce doesn't substantiate the claim. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, it's ridiculousness. Ridiculousness. Anywho, what's going on? Ambush? Is that what it is? Ambush? What's going on with you, homie? Bright box squared. As the Lord gives you life to make the most of it, there's no Lord. And Lords don't give lives. I'm going to need you to substantiate that claim with some sort of empirical evidence. Okay? But wait, what? Hold on. Hi, Dade. How are you? What's up, Liam? Like the speaker said, Chomsky is great. Manufacturing consent is great. Shows how the media serves the elite and promotes American military interests. Correct. Babe, you need some merch. Aaron, kind of agree. You know what I mean? The one thing that's making me hesitant to make merch or put out merch is that right now I'm unable to guarantee that it wasn't made through capitalist exploitation. Okay. I just want to know. Like, that's why I really just want to buy the machine myself. Just get a screen printing machine and then just make my own clothes. That way I know that it was made ethically. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't exploit someone's labor for, to make the shirt. That's the only reason why I haven't really done any merch, to be honest, because I'm trying to live my fucking values. Okay. Now, I can't do that all the time, clearly. I mean, there's really no ethical consumption under capitalism, so it just is what it is. But I at least try. I make an effort, okay? So if I can control it, which, again, me putting out merch would be under my control, then I want to make sure it's done ethically, To some extent. Obviously, I can't promise that the material to make the clothes was ethically sourced. Obviously, it wasn't. I'm just saying. I'm not yelling at you, by the way. I'm just, Anyway, babe. Oh, wait, I already read that. Let's go down. If you hate the country, then leave. That's not how it works. Okay. It's not that I hate the idea of America. Okay. I just hate where it's currently at. All of this hate and division and stupidity, honestly. It's too many of you motherfuckers who just can't be bothered to read a book or do some analysis or genuine research on any of the topics I've mentioned. You know what I mean? That's what's sad, But as far as life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, I mean, that as an idea is awesome. Okay. They just never meant it. It was never meant. Not for everyone. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't hate America as an idea. Like I said, the idea of America is fantastic. It's just we've failed to live up to those ideals. And that's what I'm trying to change, and not just sit by and let it happen to me, as apparently you seem to be content with. I'm not. Anyway, as a girl, I can tell you the tone has changed. Okay. You the man, dude. Thanks, Daniel. BJKC says 4A well regulated. So that when one comes along, I don't know where you were going with that. Who was it? Said it's like threading a needle to leave this country. I don't know. I don't know that anyone said that. I mean, they may have. I'm just not privy to that information, But you should write a book, Dad. Well, History Noble. I thought about it. I just don't know what I would write about. You know what I mean? Plus, too, I'm still doing a lot of research, and the book that I just read, that I was reading, is a part of that research. I just want to get more information, more facts, more data points, that's all. Oh my God, Kalasia 789 is in this bitch. I'm geeked up. What up, Kalasia? America was born in a time when the Enlightenment was in full swing, but there was still a lot of antiquated, horrible ideas still in fashion. Correct. What's going on, Charles West? Excuse me. What's going on? Somebody's name is not in English, but I see you said Dade and whoops. And have I heard the new Marilyn Manson songs? I think I heard like 2 or 3. I just wasn't. I don't know, man. Maybe Marilyn's time is up. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like sad. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't sound like I don't know. I don't know what I expect from him. Like maybe I just want him to just keep remaking fucking Antichrist Superstar over and over again. You know what I mean? Or fucking his first album, what was it, like Marilyn Manson and Spooky Kids or whatever the fuck? I can't remember the name of the first album, but it's like, maybe that's what I want. I just want him to keep making that shit over and over again. But it's like, the motherfucker's getting old. You know what I mean? Like, he's got other shit, other things that he thinks about. So, of course, his music isn't going to be exactly the same, And that's fine, I guess. So maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of like trying to find a new Marilyn Manson. Like, who is the modern day version of Marilyn Manson? Like I get Marilyn Manson vibes from like Motionless and White. You know what I mean? Like a little bit. I get Marilyn Manson vibes. Uh, but I mean, man, I fucking love Marilyn Manson, dude. Like he opened the door for me to even get into rock music as a genre. You know what I mean? Like he started it, and then it went from like him to like Metallica to Cannibal Corpse to Suicide Silence, and then like Meshuggah and Opeth, and I just Slipknot. Like I was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like once I opened that door, it was like no shutting it. Now I'm just a full throated fucking metalhead. You know what I mean? Like I barely even listen to any other music. It's almost always metal. And like techno and trance. Like don't get me wrong, there's like a lot of genres of music I like, but metalcore, that shit is like my favorite. This shit is my favorite, son. Like I love motherfuckers like, not to say that everyone I'm about to mention is metalcore, but like Slaughter to Prevail, Knocked Loose, Landmarks. Landmarks is all right. Um, Alpha Wolf, uh, Disembodied Tyrant, Chelsea Grin. You know, like these. Oh, is it Deicide or the? Yeah, Deis. I think it's Deicide. No, it's not. It's the other one. Dying Fetus. I fucking love Dying Fetus, dude. Like that band is fucking sick, son. Like I fucks with Dying Fetus, yo. Like straight up. But yeah, like so those are the bands I listen to the most. I probably listen to mostly Cannibal Corpse, Knocked Loose, and a shitload of Chelsea Grin, like and Angel Maker. I'm a big Angel Maker. Yeah, I love Angel Maker, like straight up. But anywho, let's see. Let me go back down to these comments, son. My username was Danny Dot, but I changed it to make the characters all weird. Okay, there it is. Fuck yeah, it is. Knock loose shit. Do you like waking the cadaver? Yes, sure do. Do you like Lorna Shore? Shit, you better believe it. What the fuck? Hell yeah, I like Lorna Shore. Actually, I'm sorry I didn't bring him up. But hell yeah, I'm a big Will Ramos fan, straight up. But yeah, like Lorna Shore. Like, I liked Lorna Shore when they had CJ McCreery. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get why he, you know what I'm saying, he ain't there no more. You know what I mean? But his other band, what is his band called? Immaculate? No. Immortal Disfigurement. Yeah, so his band, Immortal Disfigurement, fuck, dude. Hell yeah. Like Signs of the Swarm, because I think he used to be the lead singer of Signs of the Swarm. But Signs of the Swarm is fucking sick too, son. But Brand of Sacrifice? Holy shit. Holy shit. Like that band is fucking dope too. I'm sorry I didn't bring them up earlier. Alpha 6, yes. Yes, thanks for reminding me of them too. Alpha Wolf, Alpha 6, straight up. Yeah, hell yeah, son. Apologize to Donald Trump. I wouldn't. Why? He's not watching this, and I have nothing for which to apologize. Anywho, also check out Bind the Sacrifice. Bind the Sacrifice. I never heard of them. There's another one I was thinking of since I just thought of Brand of Sacrifice. What is it called? Like Bound in Fear. That's another one that's pretty dope. Bound in Fear. You should check them out. How about Bad Omens and Wage War? Wage War is sick as fuck. Bad Omens though? Shit. Like, what is his name? Noah? Is that the lead singer's name? Like, bro. Man, have you heard his Unplugged album? Oh my god, dude. I am the biggest fan. Well, maybe not the biggest fan, you know what I mean? Like, but I am definitely a fan of Bad Omens. And I mean, I was a fan of Sleep Token. I don't know that I'm like a super fan of Sleep Token, because I wish they would stick to like the heavier shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like he too much on that other not heavy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, some of Sleep Token shit is fire as fuck. Like, but it's like I be wanting this shit that's like that sound like The Summoning. You know what I'm saying? Like that song, The Summoning, or his older shit, Alkaline and what was it, Dark Signs, like those songs, bruh, fuck yeah. As I Lay Dying is one of the also another one of the bands that got me into metal like way back in the day. I had their I think Oceans Between Us album, and that I just fucking loved every song on that motherfucking album, like Confined, Through Struggle, Control Is Dead. Like that whole album was fucking fire in my opinion. So thanks for bringing them up. But what the other band, as you said, Ice Nine Kills, they're okay. They're just too gimmicky for me. You know what I mean? Like they all right. I get that they like do horror movies, and like I mean that's cool and all to like look at, but like I don't know, like when I'm like rocking out, jamming and shit, it's like I'd rather hear some like Megadeth type riffs or some Chelsea Grin. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like that. I'm just keeping it real. Thanks, JF. I am a good person. And I know this. I'm an asshole, but I'm still a good person. You could be a good person and an asshole. Do you like Fit for a King? I've heard of them. I've also heard of Hate Breed. I see you, Daniel. I don't really dig Hate Breed that much. Like, they all right. They got some pretty dope riffs. Fit for a King, I haven't heard that much by them, to be honest. I've probably done songs by them. Like, I probably covered some of their shit, but, like, I don't like kind of like Upon a Burning Body. Like I'm aware of their music and I know they're pretty good. It's just I don't know, like the bands I mentioned already are the bands I probably listen to on any given day. Like along with like Rob Zombie. Do you know about Peeling Flesh or Jungle Rot? I do know about Jungle Rot, and I only found out about Peeling Flesh like yesterday. You know, Kingdom of Giants, Jesus Peace. I said it like it was a full sentence. Violent Opossum, you something else, dog. Hell no. Meshuggah, Acacia Strain, Suicide Silence, Infinite Annihilator. Infinite Annihilator is fucking sick, son. I just now saw that you had said that, Lucid State Department. Yeah, that's fucking sick. I like Infinite Annihilator a lot. Acacia Strain's good. Suicide Silence was way better when Mick was still alive. Or Mitch, when Mitch was still alive. The new singer is good vocals, but I just don't. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real, dog. Like when Mitch died, I felt like Suicide Silence died, dog. But whatever. What's your favorite Slipknot song, Dave? Um, oh man, probably. Man, that's a hard one because I got a couple of favorites. Like I'm gonna say, Eyeless is up there. Disaster Piece is up there. Let me pick a newer one. The Chapeltown Rag is up there. So like I don't know. It's hard for me to pick a favorite Slipknot song. There's so many good ones. The Shape, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. Like you know, just saying. But yeah, I Boogie already know. I listen to that shit. You can't see California without falling bread outside. Don't get me started, man. That's just sick. Yeah, I like Whitechapel. I got their newest shit too. Fuck, I forget what it's called. But yeah, like I fuck with Whitechapel. Hell yeah, Diluted. All right, I feel that. I feel that. Diluted is dope. Endless metal bands. I know, right? 33 said the blister exists. Bradley said Purify. Yeah, I feel you, dog. Mastodon. He said the band. Like I ain't know. Motherfucker, they got a song, Blood and Thunder, on Need for Speed Most Wanted. Like, I am aware of Mastodon. You like Chimera. I mean, I've heard of some of their shit, but I'm not like the biggest fan. Maybe I need to listen to more of their shit. You know. What's your favorite Motionless in White song? Oh, that's easy. Scissorhands. I probably listen to that one 2-3 times a day at work. Like, I don't know. I'm just like in love with the fucking song. Scissorhands is my shit. Is Trump better than Biden? Not at all. Hey, Dade, love your content. You always have a way of making me laugh and bringing my day and brightening my day. My brother and I love your work. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate that. Mike said Lorna Shore, law, not morning shore. Shut up. What are some good deathcore music? What? I've been posting them. You know what I'm saying? Just look at my videos. I'll be posting like when I be responding to people's comments, I'll be probably having like some thrash metal or some deathcore or some shit. Just depends. But like check it, yeah, check out some of my other or just go to my playlists. You know what I'm saying? Go to the homepage of my channel, go over to playlists, or is it community? Nah, it's playlist. Go over to playlist and just look. Like I got like a shit ton of playlists for a lot of the songs that I've like danced and lip synced to. You know what I mean? Most of which were metal bands. Do you think about being black ever? Yeah. What the fuck? At least once a day. You know what I'm saying? Mostly because my girlfriend's white. You know what I mean? Her family's obviously white. And she grew up with money, privileged. Whereas I grew up poor and on food stamps and to a single parent and all that shit. She had the whole American dream: family, money, mom and dad, brother, and everything was just great. So seeing how our worlds are so vastly different from one another, it's like I'm almost forced to remind myself or remember that I'm a black dude every day. Like, or just her presence and the reality of my situation reminds me that I'm a black dude. Like, so it's not so much that I think about it. It's like it's almost the thought is forced upon me. Because again, no free will. Anyway, what's the best Slipknot song in every song on the first two albums? Oh, you said the best Slipknot song is every song on the first two albums. That's what's up. What's your favorite Knocked Loose song? Um, Probably Billy No Mates. I think I'm not 100%. It could be. You know what I mean? Because I like a lot of their older shit, um, like Manipulator Two. That's not that old actually, but yeah, I like Knock Loose. Like I like a lot of their shit. I don't like the remix of Slaughterhouse that they did with Motionless in White. I just I feel like the original one was better, but whatever. Jimmy's on tonight with Owen Morgan because I won it at 6. Oh shit, what time is it? Oh, okay, I still got time. It's 5:13. You meant 6. Oh, 6 Central Time. Wait, so that's like 7 my time. That's fine. I got time. 42. Lorna Shore is all about that screaming. I mean, yo, when you got a voice like fucking, what's his name again? Fuck. um, Ramos. Will Ramos. When you have a voice like Will Ramos, hell yeah, it's gonna be all about the screaming. His gutturals are off the chain, son. Like he's such a fuck, dude. Thy art is murder. Fuck yeah. Horde to a chainsaw and Infinite Death. I think so far are my two favorite songs by them. Please shout out. What's up, Harry? Harry Hearson? What up with you? Avenged Sevenfold's a good band. Yeah, they alright. Demu Borgir? No thanks. Lorna Shore is all about that. Oh, we already read that. This guy definitely more ran through the Meek Mill at a Diddy party. What if she grew up broke? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, there you already answered that. Similar story. Sepultura is the shit. I've done a lot of songs by them. Are you aware you sound gay? No trolling. Yeah, I'm aware. I don't give a shit. Yes, I'm glad I made it to a live. I'm sure. I'm glad you did too, Josh. Don't reach for me is brutal. Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. I mean, I like that song a lot. I'm trying to think. What was the song? It was a song they put out that was like, what was the song like that? In my opinion, put him on the map where he's like arf arf. Just before the breakdown. It's like that song to me. It just like fucking. I fucking love that song. He's definitely don't got a girlfriend, more like a boyfriend. Why are you even in here? Do you just come in here to like troll motherfuckers? Like, get a life, okay? I do have a girlfriend. All right. She's at work right now, and I don't make her part of my content. Mostly because she doesn't even like that I have a YouTube channel. Yeah. Would you go the fuck somewhere? No, 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 no. And that being said, I I'd rather not include her in my content. I mean, she doesn't support me. Like, she doesn't fucking subscribe. She doesn't comment on my videos. She doesn't share the shit. She doesn't even watch this shit. Like, so why would I make her part of my content? That's all. But I mean, I was gonna say like I did include her in my content back when I first started, but I'm confusing YouTube with TikTok because when I first started my TikTok account, she was in like a couple of my first initial TikToks. But that was back before I knew she didn't really like me making this kind of content or whatever. Because she didn't like the comments that I would get from females, and she didn't like my responses to those females, where it would be like a heart back, or if they'd be like, "I love you," I'd say, "I love you too." Just Of course, I don't fucking know these people. I don't love them for real. Like, I don't know you. I'm just being nice. You said it. I'm saying it. But whatever. It made her feel some type of way. So, but that being said, that's the only reason why I don't include her in my content. But and I really don't think she cares either. Like, now, she did say that if I wanted her help, like holding the camera or some shit, so I could like take my content to another level, that she wouldn't be opposed to that. So, I mean, that's at least something to think about in the future. I might include her in the production side of my content, you know what I mean? But not this side of it. But anywho, enough about her. Let's keep going down. Oh wait, there's no more comments. I guess that was it then. You smoke a lot in your videos. Do you have a favorite strain? Violet Opossum, I do not. There's just too many strains out there, dog. Have you ever been to a fucking dispensary? Like, they got a shit ton. Like, they got a couple. Then you go to another dispensary, they got some there. They ain't have it the last dispensary. Go to another one, they got some that they ain't have it the last two. It's just like, there's so many fucking strains and hybrids. Are you kidding me? Like, it's almost, I can tell you the ones that were my favorite of the ones I've had so far. You know what I mean? And that would be, what was that one I had? But well, Wizard Snot was some pretty good shit like that. So Wizard Snot is one of my favorites. I think it was like Buddha Tahoe OG. Yeah, so I had some Buddha Tahoe OG Kush. That shit was pretty fire too. So I say those two. But there was another one I had that I cannot remember, but it was fucking fire. I got pictures. I might post that shit. But yeah, there's so many fucking strains, dude. Like, I don't see how anyone picks a favorite. Like, you could pick a favorite of the ones you've had currently until you have others. Then you'll probably find a new favorite. But I'm just saying, like, there's too many, bro. Yeah. So why don't I see all the chats? Y'all know y'all ain't done chatting. What the fuck going on? I don't see shit. Oh, fuck it. I'm going back to the top. See what questions I didn't answer. Spit it out. Yeah, what up? Lil J Money was in here. I ain't even know. What's up, Lil J Money? I'm sure, but anywho, let's get back into it. I don't even know if this mic helps or if it works. I don't fucking know. Gnome. COP26 is believed to be our last best hope for meaningful action to tackle the climate crisis. Why is COP26 so important? And why wasn't pretty much the same thing said about COP21? Well, it was indeed, and correctly. The concept of last best hope keeps narrowing. What's the last best hope at one point is gone later, and the remaining last best hope becomes far more difficult to realize. That's been true since the 1997 Kyoto Protocol, ratified by 192 nations, but not the United States. The Senate would not accept it. George W. Bush pulled out completely. Later, Canada did as well. Kyoto was the last best hope in 1997. Had the US joined, the task of escaping devastating climate change would have been far easier. By 2015, the Paris Agreement, COP21, the best hope was much more remote and difficult to realize. Again, the US Senate blocked it. More precisely, the plan was for a verifiable treaty, but Republicans would not accept that, so it was reduced to toothless voluntary agreements. And shortly after, Trump pulled out completely. Biden has formally rejoined, but what that means remains to be seen. Right now, the Republican commitment to destroying the planet in the interest of short term profit for their prime constituency of extreme wealth seems unassailable. But it wasn't always so. As we've discussed before, in 2008, there were signs of a deviation toward minimal concern for the fate of humanity, but it didn't last long. A juggernaut by the huge Koch brothers energy conglomerate quickly returned the party to obedience, and it has unchanged since. In defense of the stand of what was once a genuine political party, we should take note of the fact that the U.S. very rarely accepts international conventions, and when it does, it's with reservations that render them inapplicable to the U.S. That's even true of the Genocide Convention. One may plausibly argue, however, that these fine distinctions are all irrelevant. Even when the U.S. fully accepts international treaties, it violates them at will, hence also violating the U.S. Constitution, which declares them to be the supreme law of the land binding on the political leadership. See, that's just one more example that not even the motherfuckers in power in Washington give a fuck about the Constitution. They constantly, as a matter of course, just break the law all motherfucking time. The United States is nothing but one big fucking criminal. It makes sense that our next president will be just one other big fucking criminal. So, whatever. Anyway, where were we? The clearest case is the UN Charter, the basis for modern international law. It bans the threat or use of force in international affairs, with reservations irrelevant to the constant violation of the treaty by U.S. presidents. So normal that it virtually never elicits a comment. Discourse on international affairs has found a way around these inconvenient facts by devising the concept of a rule-based international order as contrasted with the old-fashioned UN-based international order. See, the former is preferred since the US can set the rules and determine how and when they can be enforced. An interesting topic, but not for now. A treaty on climate change, if it can be reached, is in a different category. Survival is at stake. The basic facts are brutally clear, more so with each passing year. They are laid out clearly enough in the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report released on August 9th. In brief, any hope of avoiding disaster requires taking significant steps right away to reduce fossil fuel use, continuing annually with the goal of effectively phasing out fossil fuel use by mid-century. We are approaching a precipice. A few steps more and we fall over it forever. Falling off the precipice does not imply that everyone will die soon. There's a long way down. Rather, it means that irreversible tipping points will be reached, and barring some now unforeseen technological miracle, the human species will be entering a new era. One of inexorable decline, with mounting horrors of the kind we can easily depict, extrapolating realistically from what already surrounds us. An optimistic estimate, since non-linear processes may begin to take off and dangers lurk that are only dimly perceived. It'll be an era of run for your lives, everyone for themselves, material catastrophe heightened by social collapse, and wholesale psychic trauma of a kind never before experienced. And on the side, an assault on nature of indescribable proportions. All of this is understood at a very high level of confidence. Even a relic of rationality tells us that it is ridiculous to take a chance on being mistaken, considering the stakes. We might tarry for a moment on the date of the release of the IPCC report, August 9th. Whether by accident or design, the choice is a momentous date in human affairs. August 9th is the anniversary of the atomic bombing of Nagasaki. Putting aside the horrors and the dubious efforts at justification, the Hiroshima bombing a few days earlier demonstrated that human intelligence would soon reach the level of being able to destroy everything. Nagasaki demonstrated that the commitment to attain this goal was deeply entrenched in the reigning socio-political system and intellectual culture. What remained open was whether human moral capacities and the institutions humans had created had the capacity to overcome what human intellect was on the verge of achieving: total cataclysm. After 75 frightening years, the question still remains open, even as prospects shrink for a hopeful answer. The crisis of environmental destruction, which extends well beyond the crime of global heating, raises quite similar questions. The evidence at hand is not encouraging. Let's go back to August 9th, 2021, with its clear warning that we must begin now to reduce fossil fuel use. Immediately on receipt of this grim warning, the president of the most powerful state in world history issued an appeal to the global oil cartel, OPEC, to increase production. Europe followed suit, joined by the rest of what is called advanced society. The reason is an energy crunch. That's doubtless a problem. One way to deal with it is to race toward the precipice. Another is for the rich in the rich societies, the major culprit, before our eyes. Petroleum industry journals are euphoric, announcing promising new discoveries that they can exploit to enhance production and reveling in the prospects for growing demand for their poisons. A few examples fill in details. Germany is reacting to the August warning by joining in the call for increasing fossil fuel use and making its own contributions, for example, by destroying villages to expand coal mining. Shut the fuck up. Hell, you always come in here with that fuck shit. Ain't you don't want nothing. You don't want nothing. Well, if I get up and I find food in those bowls, I'm going to be very disappointed, Petunia. Let's go see. Let's go see if there's food in this motherfucker's bowls, dog. Let me find out ain't no food in these bowls. Or there are. Let me find out there is some. Hold on, let me switch the camera around so we can all see. Why is it so fucking dark in here? Here we go. All right. I mean, I felt like I just fed y'all though. Ah, fine. Meow. Here, motherfucker. There. Rosie, you gonna come in here and get some? You just gonna sit there in the hallway like an asshole. Yeah. Look at Louis. Louis, you in the chair, dog. There you go. Go back under the table.